Hey readers, I don't know if you watched my video from yesterday where I talk about going through a reading slump, and I mentioned that I was reading a couple of books and maybe those two novels were responsible for my reading slump. So today I'm here to talk about the main novel that I have been reading and I haven't really read since Sunday, and today is Friday, and that is Light in August. You probably know that this is the book that I picked for our 12 books for 2022 reading challenge that we're doing this year, where we're reading a book a month, and then I will read it along, and then I review the book at the end of the month on the last Sunday of the month. So I have to read this novel before the end of July so I can talk about it. Okay, I've read most of the book. I'm here now on chapter 16, right? So I probably have like what, 2 hours left here, but I'm just kind of bored with this. And Faulkner, I included Faulkner on my project because he's an author that I've struggled with before. I've struggled with it most of my life. I studied him at university and I've read a few of his novels and reread some of them because they're very confusing the first time you read them. So the reason why I read Faulkner and I continue to come back to him is because I want one of two things. I want to either learn to love him, love his writing, or work out why I don't like it so I can articulately talk about why I don't like his writing and have reasons and have examples, and I'd be able to say, well, I've read all these novels by him and I don't like his writing because this, and that. The problem is that I haven't worked out that, but I have this reaction, and his books really bore me. I'm really confused by the apologies for the big truck. Okay, go away. His books are confusing, okay? Different narrators, different point of views, and he doesn't make it clear when he moves between them. That's fine. I love literary experimentation when it works, and I like to be challenged, okay? And also, I don't read for plot. I think plot is important, but it's not the thing that grabs me in a novel, right? And so, yeah, but his experimentation doesn't quite work for me. It also feels kind of dated. His books, to me, feel kind of dated, but I couldn't really tell you why. Also, the setting, he famously sets his books in this fictional county in the South, in the Deep South. I probably have viewers from the US, from the Deep South. I don't mean any offense by this. I've never been to that part of the world or that part of the US, and I don't have anything against it at all. But it's not, sometimes, I'm sure you know what I mean. Some people are interested in Japan or in England or in whatever. Yeah, we're more interested in some places other than other places, and we don't know why, and sometimes it's hard to work out why. In my case, I'm not really that interested in the Deep South. I know that a lot of people find it fascinating. Southern Gothic and all that kind of stuff is very popular. I can take it or leave it. I don't really care. One thing that really puts me off this book and others by him, but particularly this one, is the racism. There's so much racism here. That can be hard to read, okay? That's very hard to stomach. But it's also something that, in the way he talks about it, is very alien to my life and my experiences with racism. I'm not from the US, I'm not from the Deep South, I'm not from the 1930s. And all the racist violence here can get to me, but at the same time, and I hope this comes across right, it's very alien to me. That's probably quite lucky for me that it is. I'm not saying racism is alien to me. I've seen racism in Europe and in Northern Africa. I understand it exists, but the kind of racism that he talks about here, I find it really hard to read about because it's really violent and disgusting, but also because it kind of doesn't make sense to me. Even though I'm sure it's real, I know it's real, I know it existed, and know it still exists. I watch the news, I know people from America, people that I'm very close to, so yeah. But yeah, man, I cannot gel with this book. So if you read Faulkner, whether you really like him or not, whether you feel, I want to hear about your experiences reading Faulkner, because I need to either learn to love his writing or work out why I don't respond to it, and perhaps make a video about that, perhaps work that into my eventual review of Light in August, which will come out because I will finish this come rain or whatever else I've forgotten the saying by the end of the month. So please let me know, because I love to talk to you about Faulkner, whether you're a fan or not, because for me, it is almost irrelevant whether I learn to love his writing or whether I work out why I don't like it. But at least I need to know. And you might be wondering, why do I read Faulkner if I don't respond to his writing? That would be a legitimate and good question. I think there are two reasons. One reason is that he's a very famous, very critically acclaimed writer, and I like to read high quality books. Doesn't mean that I have to love them, but at least I want to know them for myself and have an opinion. That's very important. And number two is because Faulkner is hugely influential, or was hugely influential, in Latin American literature. And as you know, one of my interests, literary interests, is in Latin American literature in general. And one of my favorite authors is the Colombian writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And Faulkner really influenced him a lot, even though Garcia Marquez didn't always recognize that, or was upfront, or genuinely open and truthful about that influence. But it is obvious that he was hugely influenced. And I'm being kind. I could say that Garcia Marquez imitates Faulkner a lot. And I'm not making any judgments on that, because I really like Garcia Marquez. But that's the thing. I really love Garcia Marquez, who, if we're being unkind, is an imitator of Faulkner. And I don't like Faulkner, the original. What's that about? Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you again on my next video. Take care.